Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to Last Word Sports. I did my video about the Chiefs game yesterday, and then wouldn't you know it, at night, the Jaguars made a blockbuster trade, kind of a blockbuster trade. They made a pretty big trade for Greg Newsome. They traded Tyson Campbell and a seventh for Greg Newsome and a sixth. I think that sixth belonged to the Jets. Overall, I love this trade. I mean, to be honest, I've never been a big Tyson Campbell guy. He's been okay. I've always said he's a good number two corner, and we treat him like a number one, and he's not a number one. Um, Greg Newsome kind of is that as well. I mean, with Cleveland, he was their number two corner behind Denzel Ward. Denzel Ward is a good corner, so it's not like a slight. Tyson was our number one here just because we didn't have anybody else. But now we have Jordan Lewis, we have Travis Hunter, and I really like Monteric Brown. He's just a solid guy. But looking at this trade, I see like one of three things. I see either they want to kind of compete this year and they wanted a better corner. They wanted to upgrade in that position, um, and that is Greg Newsome. They must have been very upset with Tyson, allowing so many big plays this year. Tyson's made that fumble against the Texans and all that, but he also gave up the touchdown to the Texans, and he gave up the big play to the Chiefs this past game. So I mean, Tyson, he's good for at least one big play given up a game. Um, Maybe they think that that Newsome will be better in his own scheme, but I thought the Browns played more man scheme anyways, but I could be wrong about that. But maybe they just think Newsome is a more disciplined corner in that zone scheme that they run versus Tyson Campbell, who did prefer more of that man coverage. I also think it could be a cap thing. Maybe they're trying to save up for Devin Lloyd or Trayvon Walker, one of the two. So it could be either one of those. Maybe it's a combination of both. And so it makes you wonder, like, is this a move for the future or is this just for a now move? Do they really see keeping Newsome long term? I think Newsome is a good player. I think if you don't think that, I think you're wrong. Newsome is a good player. That's not debatable, but it's just more like, I mean, Monteric, I think, is in his contract year. Newsome's now in a contract year for us. Devin Lloyd's in a contract year for us. Trayvon we have on the fifth year option. ETN's on a contract year for us. You're not keeping all those guys, so who are you prioritizing? This might be a controversial take considering he hasn't even played it down for the Jaguars, but let's just go with me hypothetically. If Newsome has a good year for the Jags and the secondary is looking great, the defense is playing well, and Devin Lloyd, say he stops this one pick a game trend he's on, say he's like plays okay, he plays good for the rest of the year. He's just a good linebacker. But Newsome is obviously our best corner throughout the rest of the year. Who are you re-signing? And you say Devin Lloyd's done much more for this team, pick six and all these picks and all that. And Devin Lloyd is greatly improved. I was not a Devin Lloyd fan coming into this year, but he's definitely greatly improved. But corners in this league are more valuable than linebackers. That's not a hot take. That's just how it is. Corners make more money. They're harder to replace. You can get a good linebacker in the draft in like the third or fourth round. I mean, Balky tried several times. It didn't work for him, but if you look at where Gladstone came from, they get half the linebackers on the Rams were undrafted guys, over half. Like the Gladstone on the Rams showed that they really do value their undrafted free agents. Even, I mean, with the Jaguars, you look at guys like Jonah Monheim on offense at center. Centers they say you can get later in the draft too, and he did that. Running backs, linebackers, those two positions are ones that you don't really prioritize paying that much. So this really does raise a question of like, is this a move for that, or is this a move maybe to get? I don't really see how this works, but maybe is it a move to get Travis Hunter more playing time on defense? I don't see that because you're just replacing Tyson Campbell with a better corner. So um, I don't know if this is a move to keep Greg Newsome right now. And I think even cap wise, we took a hit because we paid a lot of Tyson's salary. I don't really know how all the cap works, to be honest, but I know we paid a decent amount of Tyson's salary for this trade, and for the next year or two, this doesn't really save us anything. And especially, I mean, if we don't keep Newsome, it's basically just like what an 11 game rental. Basically, what that is, 12 game rental. We did get the better pick though. We've seen what Jimmy Gladstone can cook up with, a late round pick, 6th round pick, but we don't get that immediate financial flexibility. But is this a move to free up, 2 years down the road? Because this now frees up a lot of money in 2027 and beyond. I think this just really tells me like Tyson is not playing bad right now. He's playing okay, and he's healthy. Those two things have rarely coincided. When he's playing well, he usually gets hurt immediately after, and we're like, ah. So maybe this was an opportunity where the front office says, we're not dedicated to Tyson Campbell. We don't love the guy. He's playing okay, and he's healthy right now. This is the best time to get what we can to trade him. You know how like they say like buying the dip or like sell on the high. That's what we're doing right now. We're selling on the high. Yeah, he's not killing it, but if Tyson Campbell was like locked down right now, we wouldn't want to trade him. So he's at that point where he's playing well enough where he can garner trade interest from other teams, but he's not playing well enough for us to miss him if we did trade him. So I think that this overall it's an upgrade for us in the immediate, and it offers long-term flexibility. So on the Jag side, I'm ecstatic about this because I mean, at worst, you don't sign Newsome and you go into next year with Travis Hunter as an outside corner. Say you don't re-sign Monteric Brown, go draft a corner. This isn't You're not limited to the roster you have this year. Go draft a corner. You can do that. You still have Jerry and Jones. Like to me, this was a great trade. This is the trade. Another thing is, this is a trade that Trent Baalke wouldn't make. How many years, how many off seasons, not even off seasons, how many seasons building to the trade deadline did we say we need a third pass rusher? We need another pass rusher. We need that third pass rusher. And Trent Baalke would say, oh, we had a few guys in, and just and saying like, oh, did you make an offer? And he'd be like, oh, we don't want to disclose that. It's like, well, you didn't, because Clowney signed with the Ravens and had a career year, and he signed for like $3.5 million. It's just like, you weren't ready to give $3.5 million to Jadeveon Clowney. If you weren't willing to give $5, if you had offered $5, that's a tangent. But if he had offered $5 to Jadeveon Clowney, he would have taken that. So we know you didn't make an offer for at least $5 million to Jadeveon Clowney those years ago. Anyway, we had these gripes of, make a play for a pass rusher, and they would never do it. And then this was a situation where nobody was clamoring for a corner, but this was a situation where they self-scouted. They said, listen, he gave up the big play against the Texans, and then in the Chiefs game, he gave up the big play to Tyquan Thornton. That was a 3rd down, by the way. That was a big stop that could have been. And he was caught watching Mahomes in the backfield. Like, what are you doing? You're the deep third on a cover 3. You got to get back there. He doesn't know how to play. He's not great at playing zone. And then also on last drive, somebody pointed this out. The Hollywood Brown hit off his helmet throw by Mahomes. If Hollywood Brown turns around and gets that, he has to beat Eric Murray, and if he beats Eric Murray, that might be a touchdown. And that's because Tyson Campbell gave him the inside leverage. Maybe he was supposed to. I don't know. But maybe that was just something more where like the DC and the GM, whatever, Tony Baselli and Cohen looked at and said, like, listen, this guy is turning out to be a liability. He doesn't have the knack to play this zone coverage. I think that was even man, though. So I don't even know. So maybe in that case, they said, like, instead of just waiting for him to mess up, why don't we just upgrade now? And they did. So honestly, this is just a continuation of this front office and this regime being different than the past regime. But like I said, I like this trade. Let me know if you guys like it. If you hate it, let me know. If you're a big Tyson Campbell fan, I mean, I don't know how many of those there are. I don't hate Tyson Campbell. I wish him the best. I hope he does well with the Browns. Appreciate your time here, but I think we upgraded, and I'm excited to see how Greg Newsome plays. I think it's really fitting that they did this also right before we play the Seahawks, because the Seahawks, they're pretty good at running the ball, but also like Sam Darnold is balling out right now, and Jackson Smith and Njigba is also playing well. So I think we're going to see a lot of Newsome on Njigba. Um, but yeah, I'm excited to see this. So overall, I'd say W for the Jags. Let me know what you guys think. Are you upset to see Campbell go? Are you a little scared of what this means for the cap? Do you think we'll re-sign Newsome? What do you think? I guess it's just let the year play out. I don't know. But yeah. Anyway, Duval, see you guys later.